Hey everybody, thank you for coming back to my channel, Gardening with 1B and Zone 5B. My name is Janelle, and I'm here to take the intimidation out of maybe getting a garden started, showing you things that I plant, some tips and tricks along the way, trying to take the intimidation out of it to kind of propel you on a path of a little bit of food security. I'm an advocate for growing your own groceries. Today is Tomato Day, so we're going to do some tomato talk. And I have quite a few set aside. I use these types of trays for my tomatoes. Now, this one I got at the end of the season last year and it was cracked, but I'm still gonna use it. They were marked down. This is a 16 count. This is a 36 count. And the reason I like these, I'll show you one that I've used before, is they have these silicone bottoms, so it's really easy to push to free up your plants to get them out. And I usually like to plant my tomatoes in this because then I don't have to transplant them other than one more time, maybe into a solo cup. Gives them plenty of root room. And then I also use an 8 count, and it's the same thing. They have the silicone bottoms. Now these 8 counts I've been using for about 5 or 6 years. These bottom trays are real sturdy, so I like these a lot. I use my smaller trays for most of my flowers and my other vegetables like kohlrabi and cabbage and stuff like that. But those here that I just showed you, I like those for my tomatoes. So I have spots for 156 tomatoes. I am not going to grow and use all 156. We have a village-wide rummage sale in May, and I sell a lot of plants at that time. I share them with the community. I get them, I get to talk to people and maybe educate them a little bit if they have any questions, or they'll say something like, I need a tomato to make spaghetti sauce. What do you recommend? I'll have a couple of paste tomatoes to try. So that's kind of why I grow so many. At first, I only grew, what I needed, plus maybe a couple in case I had some crop failure. And then I would sell those couple extra, but they were gone just like that. So I kind of started to increase that. Things that I do with my tomatoes. I make spaghetti sauce, and I make mine kind of thick. It's easier to thin it out if you want it more watery. I don't like to see the liquid on my plate though. I just like to see the sauce. I like that meatiness, robust sauce. I also use the same sauce for making lasagna, or I make smaller like half pints, like for dunking mozzarella sticks in. I make regular salsa and corn salsa. Isn't that one pretty? I make Italian stewed tomatoes. And with this, I usually use like a cheese tortellini, and I put that in with the stewed tomatoes, and then I'll add a can of black olives, and I'll cut up some pepperoni, and I'll sweat it out in the microwave just to get rid of some of that grease. And then I top it off with some Parmesan cheese. Delicious. I also make taco sauce and enchilada sauce. And really, a lot of the ingredients are the same. The enchilada sauce uses chili powder. This uses cumin, and my salsa uses cayenne pepper. So that's kind of the why I'm growing like a lot of different peppers too, is because I need those to make my ingredients here. The other thing I do is tomato juice, and I can it in pints and half pints. This one I brought upstairs. I'm putting this in the refrigerator because I'm just going to drink it. I love tomato juice. This is something that I use like when I make chili. I'll use 2 of these to 1 pound of hamburger, and then I go from there. Thing with tomatoes and strawberries, they're 2 of my favorite things, and I will pig out on them until I start developing sores inside my mouth and on my tongue, and then I gotta back off because they're acidic. I love them. 2 of my favorite things, and then they punish me. Just not fair. The other thing that I make is tomato garlic soup. Last year was the first time that I made this. I got a cookbook from somebody I've been following on TikTok, and this tomato garlic soup recipe is in her cookbook here. A lot of great recipes. I asked if I could mention her cookbook on my channel, and she said yes, of course. So those are the things that I use for my tomatoes. That's why I grow so many, and that's why I steer more towards the paste or the sauce tomatoes. So without boring you too much, I pulled all my tomato seeds ahead of time because these are my seeds. I have flowers, then I have vegetables, and then I have herbs, then I have seeds that I saved. I always put them in alphabetical order so that if I, like, do I have impatient seeds? And I know, and I don't have to flip through everything. Or do I have rosemary seed? Then I can just kind of flip to the back. So this is my habit. It's a good habit, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start some seeds today. Now, I'm going to be growing probably about 15 or 20 varieties, so I'm not going to bore you with the whole process, but I'm going to start a couple just to show you how I do it and then go from there. I start them out in these little plastic bags ahead of time just so that I can see which seeds are going to sprout, because those are the seeds that earn a spot in here. If you plant all your seeds right in here, you might have some misfires where they don't grow, and then you're going to have empty spots. So this is valuable real estate. So I'm only going to plant the ones that are going to sprout. And some of my seeds are starting to get a little old, or I only have like 5 seeds left. I'm going to use those up. They were all really good tomatoes, and I'm going to hang on to the package just so I remember. During COVID, when I was hunting around for seeds, and I wasn't going to stores much just because of COVID, I was ordering them online in like January, February, and there weren't many paste tomato seeds out there. So I started researching to see about some alternative, and I found things like Sheboygan, Gilberty, Giant Belgium. Well, Giant Belgium's not a paste tomato, but I found different varieties that we just don't sell on the racks in the stores here. So I was trying those, and I was never disappointed. Never. The only tomatoes that I'm starting to steer away from are Romas, just because I feel they're so small in comparison to some of the paste tomatoes that I found since. So with that, I'm going to be trying 2 new tomato seeds this year. One is called Pineapple and one is Black Beauty. There's a guy on TikTok. His videos always start out, "What do you do, gardeners?" He's got a really low voice, and he grows these. He grows a lot of really cool stuff. So I hope I don't get in trouble for mentioning his TikTok. But anyway, those are the 2 that I'm going to grow. So I'm going to start out by labeling my bag. This is going to be Black Beauty. And then I'm going to put today's date on here because that's the day I'm going to try sprouting them. Today is the 15th. Such a hard question. And then on the back, I always look for the germination rate. So it sprouts in about 7 to 14 days. So I'm going to put 7 to 14 days. Well, 7 to 14. That way, pretty much by the end of March, that means that whatever seeds are left in here probably aren't going to sprout. Now, I want to plant, come on, I want to plant about 8 of these. So I'm going to try sprouting 10. And what I do is I put a piece of paper towel in here, and then I just kind of dribble some water in there just to moisten it down like that. Don't dribble the water on your seed packets. It's not going to turn out good for you. All right. So there we go. I got probably a little too much water in here, but all right. And then, let's see here. Do I have a scissors? Yes. So I'm going to kind of just snip off the corner. And like I said, I only want about 10 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go one more little tap for good measure. I'm just afraid that there might be some misfires. All right, so we'll set that aside. And then all I'm going to do is sprinkle these on this wet paper towel. And I kind of position the paper towel below where I write, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of move them around. I have a toothpick here to kind of, just so they're not on top of each other. There we go. Looking good. There. I know this might seem a little putsy and you might not have time for this, but this has saved me seedling stress. All right. There we go. So there you see, we've got our tomato seeds ready to go. And the reason why I don't put the name right across the middle is because I want this open so I can see who's sprouting and ready to get planted. Now, when these sprout, they may sprout, and I could maybe leave them in here for a day or two, but I don't want that sprout to get too long because it starts to work its way into the fibers of the paper towel. And when you remove it, you risk maybe snapping off that sprout and then it's done. So that's why I do it like that. So here we got Black Beauty, today's date, and 7 to 14 days. And then I just kind of put them on a cookie sheet here on my stove. This is a gas stove, so there's a pilot light on there and always radiates a little bit of warmth. So this pan right here is kind of warm and snuggly right now. So that's going to help encourage them to sprout. So then the next one we're going to do is the pineapple. And I'm going to do about the same amount of seeds. So pineapple, and today's date, so it was 3/15. And how many days does it take? 7 to 14. That's pretty standard with tomatoes. And oops, getting in my own way here. And then again, we're going to put a paper towel in here and dribble some water on it. Tomatoes, when you plant them in the ground, give them about 2 feet of space, meaning like you want to plant them 24 inches away from the next one that you put in the ground, because they're going to take up a good 2 to 3 feet and you don't want to crowd them too much. I know it looks kind of cute just to have them all in a row, but they're not going to thrive that way. You're really going to have to leave some space for them. These are all indeterminate tomatoes, which means they are viney. They keep growing, they keep producing from the top. And I will cage these when that day comes. I'll have a video and I'll show you that step. So we're going to dribble some water again. I cut up this paper towel ahead of time too, just because of making the video. Oh, I might need just another dribble in here. But too much in that one and not enough in this one. Getting in my own way. There we go. So we got pineapple. And again, we're just going to cut off the corner. Now, I usually like getting my tomato seeds in the ground around March 20th. And that's going to be next week. So that's why I'm starting to sprout these ahead of time. Just so that I have some to put in the ground around that time. Once they start sprouting, there's quite a bit of activity. I like it though. Oh, wow, these are tiny. 2, no, that's 1 seed. Come on, 2. It's almost like they have static. Come on. One more tap. All right, set those guys aside. Get my big fingers here to pinch them all up at once. And then we're going to sprinkle them on the little baggie, or on the paper towel in the baggie. And I am going to move a couple of these around just to give each of them some space. That way when I gotta dig them out of here for planting, it's not too traumatic for any of the neighboring seeds. Come on, I want to get you back up here a little higher. There we go. Zip. So there you go, here's some more. And again, I'm just going to be waiting for these to sprout. And when they sprout, then they're going to go into the soil. And the ones that don't sprout in 7 to 14 days, they're going to go to probably the compost heap. You know, I hope for the best, but you never know. Some seeds aren't as viable as others. I do get seeds from M.I. Gardner, and his seeds have a really good germination rate, and I feel that is well worth the money. So let's do another one here. Super sauce is my favorite paste style tomato. That and San Marzano. Those are my two favorites. So I already made up my mind that I'm going to fill up 1 16 count of super sauce and 1 16 count of San Marzano. So let's do super sauce, 315, and I have some leftover seeds from last year. Last year what I did was, as I was pulling things out of the garden, I kept every variety separate. I was using those like flat boxes you get at garden centers, and I was weighing everything. And I did that to kind of determine, is this a high enough producing plant to take up valuable real estate in my raised beds? Because I have a small space, it's limited. And if this is only going to give me 2 or 3 pounds of, or this one won't, but if you pick a variety and it only gives you 2 or 3 pounds of tomatoes, but then the neighboring tomato gives you 7 to 10 pounds, you're going to want to remember to plant that one the following year. So super sauce takes 7 to 10 days. That's kind of nice. I mean, it's only 4 days shorter than the other two. And then we're going to put, oh yeah, we got to open it first. Now, these tomatoes here, these aren't all going to get planted today. Those, the most of them are, but not all of them. Kind of switch it up a little bit. There we go. Super sauce. There's not too many seeds left in here. Yeah, I'm just going to use these up so I can... Come on, there's like one more seed. I know it's only one more seed, but everybody gets a fair chance here at my house. I think that was it. Yep. Okay, so that one kind of went here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm going to have to open up my other pack because I really want 16 of these, because I know 6 of them are going in the ground here, at least 6. I plan on planting 12 tomatoes. I think I counted, no, yeah, 12, 6 and 6, 12 sauce or paste style tomatoes. I'll plant a slicer. I'll plant some cherry tomatoes. I like the variety. Oh yeah, I wanted to add a couple more. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is label this from the old bag or old packet. I'll just write that on there. Old. So that if a lot of these don't germinate, I'm not thinking it's from the new packet that I just picked up a couple weeks ago. So there we go. See that? All those little seeds in there. And we're just going to put them on there. So I have a lot more that I want to plant. I'm going to be planting the last of the Sheboygan, the last of the Gilberti, the last of the Incardi. Let me see here. I can show you those. I think. Or maybe I have them. Oh, no. No, I think they're here. Yes. Oh, no, those aren't them. I must have weeded them out. I'm going to be planting the last of those. I'm going to be planting a variety of cherry tomatoes. I just think it's really cute when you have a variety of colors of cherry tomatoes in the bowl. So I'm going to be planting all of these, but not the spoon tomatoes. This is a neat little plant. If you're ever wanting to have something that's just for salads, this one. This picture with the tomatoes in the spoon, that's pretty accurate. And it produced a lot. So those are the tomatoes that I'm going to do. Isis Candy, Honeycomb Hybrid, Geranium Kiss. Geranium Kiss is a patio tomato, meaning that it is determinate and it's not going to vine. So once it produces its flowers and its fruit, it's done. Whereas all the other ones that I'm planting, they're indeterminate, meaning they're going to keep producing up until the frost kills them. Got Honey Delight. This is your basic cherry tomato in the Manitoba. The Manitoba, I put a note on here that it gets a little bit bigger than a regular cherry tomato. Still very good though. I feel like it's a really good quality. I'm also going to be planting some Wisconsin 55s. I'm in Wisconsin, I better. This one here I think is Celebrity. Yes, Celebrity. That one to me produced quite a bit, and I have quite a bit of seed. So I'm going to be planting that one. This one I think is the Long Keeper. Long Keeper is a cool tomato because this is going to store a little bit better than your other tomatoes that you plant. When you pick, like, say you're clear picking your tomatoes at the end of the season, even if they're just starting to blush, take those off the vines before the frost hits. If they're green, they're not really going to ripen, but if they're blushing a little bit, they'll ripen in the house. And the key to having your tomatoes not get funky is don't let them touch. So I have some steps that go up to my loft, and I'll have those boxes, and I will have my tomatoes in there by variety, and I make sure that they don't touch. And the Long Keepers do last almost all the way to Halloween. Actually, no, I take that back. Right almost all the way up until Thanksgiving they lasted last year. I'm going to plant, of course, a beefsteak tomato. Who doesn't like a BLT? Well, that's its backup plan. Mortgage Lifter. This was developed by somebody a long time ago, and it actually cleared their mortgage. That's why I got that name. Rose tomato, they do get this rosy color. They're very good, but I won't be planting those or the Giant Belgium. The Giant Belgium, I think I had one that was a little over 2 pounds. It was big. It was big. I was like, oh, this will feed a family. Mr. Stripey was a nice, fun one, but I'm not going to plant those this year. The Paul Robeson, it's got a real rich flavor. And then this is a Thornburn Terracotta, but I won't be planting these 3 this year. The super sauce we just did, this is a San Marzano. You can see it's more meaty than juicy, like something like this. Here, I'll show you the difference. This is a paste tomato or a sauce tomato, and this is a slicer. So, and then I'm going to also be planting, I'm going to use up the last of my Sheboygan seeds. That's another paste tomato. The Gilberti, I think I'm going to plant some of these. These actually produced some pretty good sized fruits last year. I was pretty happy with that. Incardi paste, that's another one. These here only have like 5 seeds left in the bag, so I'm just going to use those all up. Speckled Roman is another good one that I've planted before. All of these, really, the only ones that kind of disappoint me are Roma. And it's just, it's not because of the flavor. It's not because they're diseased. It's not because they rot or anything. It's just, I like to can, and these are small and putsy to work with because you have to remove the skins. Oh, that's the other thing I do is when I do remove the skins, I will dehydrate them and grind them up in a food processor. And then you can mix those with hamburger just to kind of get a little tomato flavor. And the skins have the lycopene in, which is good for prostate health. Not that that means anything to me, but that's one of its nice nutritional values for any tomato skin is the high lycopene value in the skins. These are going to be alpaca and Amish paste. I will be planting some of those. Paul Robeson and Mr. Stripey, they're not going to make my list this year. My B team for sauce tomatoes are Amish paste and the alpaca. They don't get as large as the super sauce, but they're still really good. They're like my backup ones. So that is pretty much all I have today for tomato talk. I hope that was informative. I like growing tomatoes. It's a lot of fun. When you're growing them in the house and say you have to transplant them just because they're getting root bound and whatever you're starting the seeds in, wait until the second set of leaves develop before you transplant. It's just a little bit healthier of a tomato. And with mine too, when I have them in the living room, my living room becomes a greenhouse. As they get to about this tall, I will put an oscillating fan on them for a little while, and just to kind of strengthen them up. And then I'm really careful with like taking them outside to harden off, which is the step where they come from the inside of the house where they're in a controlled light environment, and then they go out to the sun. And you want to kind of shelter them. I have some crates that are really ideal for this. But you want to shelter them or diffuse the light some way. And I can set these crates up just to kind of break up the strength of the sunlight, but then the plant is still getting plenty of sunlight. It looks, crazy here for a little while, but there's always a method to my madness. But you want to bring them out for a couple hours a day, bring them back in, take them out the next day, maybe for a little bit longer of a time, and bring them back in. And that's the hardening off stage. Eventually they'll be used to regular sunlight, where you can leave them out all day, but you kind of got to do this in baby steps. Otherwise the leaves get sunburned, or they'll just turn like a gray brown color. Doesn't kill the plant, it just looks a little ratty. But then as the new plant, or as the new leaves grow, they're all going to be nice and dark green. So with that, I think I'm going to end this video. I just wanted to do a little tomato talk and show you what I have going on here for my tomatoes and things that I plant and the whys. But I'm a big admirer of the paste tomatoes, the sauce tomatoes, just because of the different things that I can. So I hope this was informative. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Things are going to start getting exciting now that it's getting closer and closer to spring. Have a great day. Bye.